Good evening. This is a meeting of the Township Committee, May 18, 2020. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the Two River Times, and by posting at Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 9, 2020. Committeeman Hybel.
Here.
Committeeman Sedembrino. Committeewoman Snow. Here. Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. First item on tonight's agenda, we have the approval of minutes for April 20th, 2020 regular meeting and May 4th, 2020 workshop meeting.
Motion to approve minutes. Second.
Committeeman Hybel.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedembrino.
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. At this time, we have the public hearing for the 2020 municipal operating budget.
At this time, I will open it up for the public hearing on the 2020 municipal operating budget. Heidi will go through all the participants on the phone. When you hear two beeps, that means your microphone has been unmuted. And if you would like to make a comment on the 2020 proposed municipal operating budget, that would be your time to do so. We ask that you please just give your name and address for the record before you make your comment. With that being said, Heidi, if you'll open it up for public comment.
Would you like to make a comment?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment?
I don't know how you raise your hand.
Heidi, before you go. Any member of the public who would like to make a comment on the proposed 2020 public operating budget? When Heidi unmutes your line, you will hear two beeps that will only come through on your line, at which point she will ask you if you would like to make a comment. That is your opportunity to make a comment. So please know that if you hear two beeps, your line has been unmuted.
Okay, these for you.
Would you like to make a comment?
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to make a comment?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make a comment?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment?
Thank you.
Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment?
All right, seeing no member of the public wishing to make a public comment, I will close the public hearing portion for the 2020 municipal operating budget.
For closing of the public hearing, we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Committeeman Tybell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to close the public hearing with an adoption date to be determined in the future. At this time, we have a consent agenda. It include resolutions 20-126 through 20-133, including bingo and raffle applications.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Committeeman Tybell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt a consent agenda. At this time, Township Committee comments.
Committeewoman Snell.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank everybody in town for adhering to the COVID guidelines. I'm just hoping with each passing week, we get a little bit closer to normal, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way. I'm going to be short tonight. I just want to give a big thank you to Janet Dellett and all her hard work in organizing the driveway doodles this past weekend. Our driveway doodles turned into a family affair, so it was a major collaboration of all of us. The grandkids had a great time, and by the video, it looked like everybody in town did as well. So again, thank you to Janet and all her hard work for the kids in town. It's amazing the amount of time and effort she puts into making our kids happy, and we truly appreciate it. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two quick comments. Number one, I do want to thank our CFO, Colleen Lapp, and our administrator, Mercantante, for once again helping the Township Committee put forth an excellent budget for the taxpayers in Middletown. And it's truly a fantastic effort, and we appreciate every minute that you put in to represent everyone in town. Secondly, we all know that this week is, in fact, National EMS Week. And although we are starting slowly, as Committeewoman Snell mentioned, to come out of stay-at-home orders slowly but surely, we have National EMS Week once a year, and this year is very special. So we want to thank them for their efforts and being the front line, the face of Middletown, helping keep our town safe. That's all I have for this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Heibel.
Yes, thank you. I have to give a big shout out to my dad tonight. It's 70th birthday. I know he's listening. I know he can see me. So I want to thank the mayor and the police department, the fire department for giving us a nice drive-by yesterday. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday to everyone that's missing their birthdays and the celebrations that go along with that. I know a lot of that's going to be some hard times for people. I got my two daughters coming up in the next couple weeks here. So happy birthday, graduations and everything. Next, I just want to talk about just a minute on water safety. So far in the last month, we've had 6 rescues on the water in town. We had 4 in assisting in Atlantic Collins. We had 2. I know that boats and watercraft and everything else is going to be more popular this year than ever, in my opinion, just because people are going to be out on the water. But please be careful. Make sure you guys make sure everyone's following safe guidelines with wearing their life jackets and everything out there. So hats off to the fire department for doing an amazing job with the rescues. Thank you. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few things this evening. First of all, I echo my colleagues' comments on EMS Week and previously Police Week, which I believe was last week. Special recognition to the great first responders that we have here in Middletown that continue to make our town such a great place to live, work, and raise a family. A few things here. So we introduce a budget. Last meeting, I believe it was, we get public comment. Not sure when we can adopt the budget. A month ago. Okay, thank you, Mayor. Not sure when we can adopt the budget because clearly there's no guidance on adopting a budget. This budget is great, and kudos, and to use a term I don't like to use anymore, a big shout out to our CFO and all the administration and the Township Committee for putting together a tremendous fiscally responsible budget. But will this budget last? I can't answer that because clearly we can't get answers from Trent. We, look at revenue shortfalls, and I could tell you how much we've lost going into the last 2 months in revenue by having no courts, by having no permits, by having no building permits, no field permits, the likeness, go on, so on and so forth. But I can't tell you if that's going to last through the summer. I can't tell you if that's going to last through September. I can't tell you if that's going to last into the winter because we don't have a plan in the state of New Jersey. We continue to be told data determines dates. I'd love some dates so as an elected official, I can say with certainty and regularity what we can do, what we can't do to accomplish our financial and our township goals. I have residents asking me, will there be summer camp? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Why? Because even though they might be opening up in Maryland and Connecticut and Delaware, who knows in New Jersey, because we don't have any official plans. We have no benchmark. I can't tell you if we're going to meet those guidelines, yes or no. I saw a great letter from the Board of Education president to, I believe it was the governor's office, may have been copied to the Department of Education. What will we need to do to open schools in September? What changes and modifications will they have to make? I have 2 children in the school system. No one knows, right? Because there seems to be a real lack of forward-looking planning. And look, I am sympathetic, I really am, to the challenge at hand. It's a great challenge. It's one that has to be handled with caution, and there will be risks on either side. But it's hard for me as a resident, as a citizen, as a taxpayer to continue to fly blind. And that's what we're being asked to do as a governing body. That's what we're being asked to do as a municipality. That's what we're being asked to do as residents, stay at home. That's great. We flattened the curve. I don't think there's any doubt about that. That was the goal. That's what we signed up to do. But today I hear that we will be shut down until there's a vaccine. I'm not sure that that's tangible and feasible. And I'm not sure that won't create economic room for Middletown, for our small businesses. And I commend you, Mayor, for going out and getting the temperature of small business to see how this is going to impact them. I could tell you, I've read studies that 42% of all the jobs lost will not come back, according to economists. So it's great that we're able to provide for these unemployed employees now, but I'm not confident that those jobs will come back if we don't get a tangible plan as to reopening our economy. And every day it's like a new surprise as to what will come up, as to what will open. I'd like a little bit more concrete uniformity. I'd like a little bit more direction. That's what I'd like to see. Listen, I've seen the pain in many people's eyes when I was the mayor during Sandy. I know what it feels like to see a resident hurt. And that same hurt that as mayor I saw when people lost their homes, I'm now seeing with people in their small businesses. I'm now seeing people out of work. I met somebody today who waited 9 weeks to get their unemployment and got $232. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to work. I met another resident yesterday, or this morning, who told me that they finally got their unemployment only for it to be challenged, that they have to appeal. Now, how are they going to get through that? That's not going to work. We need a plan for Middletown, for New Jersey, or there's going to be no coming back. And waiting for a vaccine, as much as I'd like to, that's not a plan. That's a plan for a future massive tax increase in Middletown. It's a plan for a future massive tax increase in the state of New Jersey. And I just can't fathom how the virus can be that much different in 46 other states. I just don't know. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'll make my comments as short as possible. I'll echo Committeeman Senabrino's comments. This is EMS week, and we are incredibly grateful for all the volunteers of our EMS department. Tonight, I'm actually wearing my Lincroft first aid gear that they so generously surprised me with when I was supposed to be doing a ride-along.
Job shirt.
Yeah, job shirt. Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Rick. So I want to thank all of our first responders, especially those in our EMS this week, as we recognize them for all that they do for us each and every day. I also want to thank and congratulate the Township Committee here. And I want to thank and congratulate Clean Ocean Action. I want to thank the Jersey Shore Partnership and all the mayors and the freeholders led by Freeholder Director Arnone, as well as our legislators who stood up and took part in the victory against the Nessie pipeline, which was denied its permits, both here in the state of New Jersey and in New York State. For decades, New Jersey's beaches were the butt of every joke about our pollution. And in the early 1990s, the state finally took a stand that we were not going to pollute our beaches. They are a national treasure, and they bring in billions of dollars to the state in terms of tourism revenue. Why would we pollute New Jersey's greatest asset? And just this past week, I believe Friday, the state handed down a rejection for the Nessie pipeline. So I want to thank Cindy Ziff, I want to thank Margot Walsh, and I want to thank all the mayors and the freeholders that stood up against this project. Our fishermen in Belford and our community is eternally grateful for the actions that we all took as a community here in the Bayshore region. Once again, I'll echo the comments made by my colleagues about the budget. The deputy mayor couldn't have said it better in terms of what do we do now? When will we receive guidance? But I want to thank Colleen Lapp. I want to thank Tony for their efforts, for their work in constructing a fiscally responsible budget, proposing that for the taxpayers. Unfortunately, we are doing the calculations and we are looking at that lost revenue. And well, I can't say it any simpler than it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And I fear if businesses are not allowed to reopen soon, that will only get worse. 90% of Middletown's tax dollars come from residential. And I have always pushed, and this Township Committee has always pushed, that every percentage point that we can move away from the residents of this town by encouraging entrepreneurship, encouraging small business, is a win for the taxpayers. And I fear, in my daily conversations with different business owners, and I know that Committeeman Senabrino and Committeeman Heibel can both talk to this as small business owners themselves, that businesses want consistency. They want predictability. That's what allows small businesses to survive. So I hope, for not only the town's sake, but most importantly for the lives of the small business owner who put everything on the line for their family, that we can begin to open back up, or at least give the people of this town and of this state an understanding of what we need to accomplish in order to get to that position. Give me that benchmark. So I want to thank, we put out a business survey because you're going to hear a lot of people come at you and say, well, we need to open restaurants up at 25%. We need to open up restaurants at 50%. Those are numbers. And those are coming from people who don't run small businesses. I want to hear from the small business owners. And we received in under a week over 100 responses from our small businesses here in town. And we are crunching that data now. We are supplying that to our elected officials all the way up, and to give them a sense of what our businesses are feeling, what the sense is out there, what that predictability is. So I just want to thank all of our businesses that responded to that. So I won't go any, I have one more thing, I'm sorry. The most important thing. On June 1st, and we are announcing tonight, Middletown Town Hall will begin to reopen. The people of Middletown, I want to thank you. It hasn't been easy, and I want to thank the employees because I know it hasn't been easy at all. But beginning on June 1st, Middletown Town Hall will begin reopening. It will be a phased-in approach over the course of June with limited hours for certain departments. We will be coming forward to announce what those hours will be. But over over the course of June, Middletown Town Hall will begin to reopen, and the full staffing will begin to come back. So I want to thank the residents' patience over the course of the last, 10 weeks, I guess, or so. So I want to thank you all very much, as well as the employees. I want to thank you as well. So be on the lookout for that and that reopening in the next 12 days or so. In the next few days, there'll be an announcement, but come June 1st, both Middletown Town Hall as well as Croydon Hall will begin to reopen and be fully staffed. With that being said, I'll now open it up for public comment. Again, if you'd like to make a public comment, we ask that you just state your name and address for the record, and we ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I will let you know that you have 1 minute left. And just so we are, just to reiterate, when Heidi unmutes your line, you only will hear 2 beeps. Heidi will then ask if you'd like to make a public comment, if you'd like to make a statement or ask a question. At that time, you may do so. Your line will be unmuted. With that being said, Heidi, let's see if we have any public comments tonight.
Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to
Thank you.
Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make a comment?
No, thank you.
Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment? Would you like to make a comment?
No.
Would you like to make a comment?
Yes, I would like to make a comment.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sarah Fleming, 49 Brandywine Way, Middletown. My comment is, first I'd like to say thank you to the Township Committee, and the Mayor and Township Committee for all their efforts over these last few weeks. Thank you very much for your hard work and trying to help everybody. I know you're all doing the best that you can. As our Assembly persons and Senator Scanlon, trying to deal with the administration of the governor. My comment is more of a question, and is there any opportunity for Middletown to, do we have to wait for the state, or are we able to sort of open up as a municipality, or, using our own, because they seem to be moving the goalposts as to what's needed. A lot of the regulations are unreasonable and onerous and nonsensical. So is there any opportunity for Middletown to sort of do, what we think is right for Middletown, rather than waiting for the state?
Tara, thank you very much for your comment and for your question. Brian Nelson is inching his way towards me because I know he wants to give a legal definition of this. But I'm going to give you what I believe to be the answer, and then Brian can come in. He's sneaking in at this microphone here. Unfortunately, the answer is, as much as I would want to and would tell Campbell's Junction, and as much as I want to tell everybody, all the businesses in Lincroft and all the businesses on 35 and Route 36, that they can open up. The governor's executive order, and Brian will be able to tell you, I'm sure, which one, said that I can, and the Township Committee cannot make any rules or regulations that go above and beyond the governor's executive orders. I am doing all, and this Township Committee is doing all we can to work with our elected officials, our Senator O'Scanlan, and our assembly members to push the administration. I have a call with the governor's office every week where I push, but unfortunately, and I'm sure Mr. Nelson is going to confirm this, unfortunately, the governor's executive order is the order that they would all of our businesses would have to abide by. Brian?
Yeah, no, your comments are correct, Mayor. Both the executive order and also the Disaster Control Act and other statutes governing underlying the executive order don't enable the municipalities to conflict with the governor's orders. There are perhaps some very narrow instances where we can take certain measures to address local issues only if they're not in conflict with the governor's orders, but we can't, which would make it very difficult for the municipality to order its own standards for reopening.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your response. I certainly understand your position. I just think that the governor's order should not trump the Constitution. We're being deprived of our right. That's all. I know that you guys are in a very difficult position. I don't expect you, I know you have to do what you have to do, but that's just my feeling as a citizen. I feel that our constitutional rights at this stage are being violated. The month of shutdown, nobody sort of knew. I really give the governor a lot of slack and, actually credit. It was a very difficult situation and nobody really knew what to do. So, I think we've flattened the curve. We've done what has been asked. And at this point, it's now a violation of rights of citizens. So that's all. I mean, I understand your position and you probably can't do anything differently than you're doing, but it's the governor does not trump the Constitution. And at this point, I think he's being quite unreasonable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fleming. Appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. All right. That's all, Heidi?
That's all the participants.
Okay. With that being said, I will move to close public portion and adjourn.
And I'll second.
Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fiore.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you all very much. We'll see you in June.
Virtually. Is that?